James, at this point at camp, do you have any update on the quarterback competition?
No.
When do you have a timeline in mind?
We haven't even talked about it, honestly. Swear to God, we haven't even discussed it at this point. We're obviously getting close to that, but we haven't had a discussion yet, not just on quarterback, but really at any position when it comes to depth charts and rotation and things like that.
This is kind of unique, I think, unless I'm wrong, at least since you've been at Penn State. I think by this time you've usually said somebody's going to be the starting quarterback. Can you take us through why it's kind of taken a little bit longer this year than maybe some other years?
No, to be honest with you, it's not like we have a date marked on the calendar. We got a lot of things that we discuss and we got to get covered. Really, it's not like, this is any different than any years past. It may be to you guys in terms of when it was reported, right. But it just really just when the offensive coaches and myself feel like it's time. And we just haven't really got to that point with any discussion. I do have a note written down to discuss first game, rotation and depth chart. So it's coming obviously pretty soon, but it's not like we got, any agenda. It just hasn't happened yet. That's all you guys care about, Honda tonight. Take it in. I really wanted to give you guys, did you guys see the Belichick deal that was put out the other day when they asked about the receiver? And he said no. And then they said, would you like to add anything? No, they put out a statement. That's why I thought you guys don't like it. I thought it was hilarious. It's my spirit animal.
So we'll be waiting for a quarterback statement.
No, we'll cover it. We'll cover it with you guys.
James, you've talked a lot about length and athleticism on the defensive line, or on the defense in general. With PJ Mustipher, where is he in that conversation in your mind as far as the length and athleticism of his position?
Yeah, his improvement from last season has been dramatic. It doesn't surprise me because he's a worker. I love wrestlers. Obviously being here at Penn State with our wrestling program and see what Kale does and see how those guys work, how they compete. I think it's a really, really good sport for junior high and high school football players to play because the work ethic and the mentality is so good. And that's kind of who he's been. He's a worker. I would come in here, in the summer on Sundays at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'd come out in my patio and he'd be over there hitting the sled, or he'd be over here, doing bag drills, sometimes with other guys as well. But, I think in the past you'd see guys work out on their own. They'd be doing the cute stuff. You know what I'm saying? Guys aren't necessarily hammering the sled. And that's just kind of who he is. He's got a lot of ability. Obviously, he's got a brother who played, I think, at Notre Dame, and I think he won the Remington Award for the top center in college football. His dad played defensive line at West Virginia, so he comes from a family like that, great high school program. But I think the wrestling is as much as anything for him. He really knows how to work. And because of that, from the time the season ended till now, he's really improved. He is leaner. He is stronger, he's more explosive, he's quicker, and obviously a year more of experience. I think that's always kind of an interesting thing too is, you guys saw Stout at the end of practice. Stout has been awesome for us. It's funny when these guys transfer, a lot of times it's the new setting is the reason they're successful. Well, the other part of it was Stout coming out, he's a year older, so my meetings with him, he's matured as well. That factors into the success that he's having for us right now. And you just see that with PJ. And a lot of guys, when they approach it the right way, just the improvement that they're able to make in a full all season when it's approached the right way is dramatic.
Hey James, logistically, any extra time off before you get into game week, and when do you start looking at Idaho? On the field.
We started looking at Idaho obviously this summer, and then we started again today as coaches. Yesterday with the players' day off. We will start working, as you guys know that have covered us, like you, Coach Poorman. We typically will get like a bonus Thursday and a bonus Wednesday, so we won't do a true week. We'll do about a week and a half prep for Idaho. So we'll start doing that and start working that in, next week. But from a planning perspective and all those types of things, it's pretty much in. From this point on, it's about building confidence. It's about starting to get their legs back and getting ready for Idaho. Obviously, we've gone into the stadium more than we have in the past. I think that's going to help us too. And then obviously all the studies that we did with our sports science department and talking to a bunch of different people as well. Our in-season model is a little bit different this year as well. I think it's going to hopefully pay dividends for us. We'll be fresher on Saturdays, we'll be fresher in the fourth quarter, and hopefully we'll be fresher at the end of the year.
How comfortable are you with the team heading into game week? Have they, I guess, progressed?
Good. Yeah, I think our chemistry is really good. I think the guys are working hard. I think the staff's working hard. I think our cohesion from player to player and from player to staff is really good. Lot of good things. I feel good. I mean, obviously you never truly know until you get into that stadium and play. We'll see. We'll see. But I feel really good right now.
As a staff, what were you guys able to learn from the new redshirt rule last year? And have you guys put any thought into how you want to handle it in the future? Any changes to that?
Yeah, I think we had a pretty good plan last year, so we're pretty much sticking to that plan. So the guys that have earned playing time, maybe they're not full. They're full greens, what we call greens, guys that we're going to play right away from week 1 throughout the rest of the season. The guys are right on the bubble. We'll play them early, a couple games to see if they're ready or not, and then we'll save a couple games for late for injuries and things like that. Or if the light goes on for them and they're rolling, we'll keep playing them. That was the model we used last year. I will say the one thing we're probably a little bit different is there's a couple guys that we would like to redshirt. So what we're probably going to do is not play them early on and save all 4 games for the end of the season for injuries and try to use those 4 games at the end of the year, but try to save them so we don't end up burning them unnecessarily if we don't have to. And there's a couple guys that fall into that category. So we'll see, but that's probably stage 2 of the new redshirt rule for us.
Along those lines, James, do you hope to settle on a definitive third-team quarterback, or could that redshirt rule come into play with your true freshman?
Yeah, I think it'll be a lot like Trace, where I think we'll name a third quarterback. I think we haven't discussed that yet, but I think we'll name a third quarterback, but we will try to redshirt both of those guys, knowing that we got 4 games to play with. So it'll be very similar to Trace, where Trace was the backup quarterback, but we redshirted him. The difference now is you have 4 games if you need them. If you need them.
Where has Dodson made his biggest stride this offseason, and when this camp have you maybe been most impressed with him, whether it was a play or a practice?
Yeah, he's just so confident. He's just so smooth. He's got unbelievable natural ball skills. He's still obviously can use time in the weight room to get more explosive and get bigger, but now I think he's strong enough and explosive enough to be an every down Big Ten receiver. The exciting thing for him is I still think there's a lot more in the tank from a development standpoint with him, but he's very, very confident. He's got a really good understanding. It's funny, we were talking, last week, and he was just talking about, I was going around the room and I was saying, how much better are we? If you look at our team and you look at our roster, how much better are we? How much better is Micah Parsons going to be this year compared to last year? So Jahan, how much better are you going to be this year compared to last year? And he goes, he was saying he went back and watched tape, from his, first couple months here, and he was like, it's embarrassing, and a lot of our guys, because they were so young last year, not across the board, but a good percentage of our guys, are so much more experienced, or so much stronger, or so much more ready to play this year. So I think obviously that's going to be meaningful for us.
Dotson kind of played, more at the end of last season. How does that benefit him, I guess, getting those reps and maybe contributing more at the end of the season? Does that experience help?
Yeah, I think as a freshman he played a lot, pretty much all year. Obviously as the season went on it grew, but yeah, experience definitely helps and is going to help him and going to help us.
Is there a situation going into week 1 where you plan on playing both quarterbacks, or are you trying to settle on one guy and kind of ride him out for that time?
Yeah, I'm not trying to act like I'm not answering you guys' quarterback questions, but literally we haven't even had that discussion. I think always early in the season, if you can play well enough to get lots of guys experience, that's valuable. That's valuable. That'll pay dividends as the year goes on. But but we hadn't really talked about a specific plan. I haven't really been that guy in my 9 years that we're going to play 2 guys, especially when you got a guy like Sean that doesn't have a whole lot of experience, and he needs as much reps as he can to gain that experience. That's just been my belief. I want to make sure Sean or Will or whoever the guy is, Will lacks even less experience. So that's the challenge. Is you say you like to get 2 guys ready, but we really need to get 1 guy enough reps that we can start building his confidence, whether that's Sean or Will.
How have you guys kind of divvied those reps through camp? I mean, has it been a 50-50 split? Has it been rotated?
I think Sean's probably gotten a little bit more reps with the 1, but for us to do a true evaluation, Will's gotten reps as well. But I would say probably Sean's got a little bit more of the reps with the 1s.